defendant Robert Hunter Biden chose to illegally own a firearm. He was a user of crack and a drug addict. He chose to lie.
Well, what are you going to do? Walk into the gun store and say, "Hey, I do crack. Sell me a gun." I mean, what do you want the man to do?
That would be one method of obtaining a firearm.
Hey, I'll trade you some crack for that gun over there.
Here are all the methamphetamines that I'm currently on. Which guns can I purchase?
Yeah.
According to my blood work.
What gun matches my vibe? This is like what I'm usually into. So what kind of goes with crack?
Welcome back.
Hello. Yes, good to be back. Another episode of Breaking Takes.
Yes, another episode. I feel naked because I don't have my chain on me, which I totally forgot if I'm going to wear this open.
I know, your chest is exposed.
I'm trying way too hard to be sexy, and I need something to cover my chest, my chain, because I'm feeling self-conscious. But I'm glad you brought the chain to the party today.
Always. I don't actually take it off that much.
Yeah, you
because I'm
sleep
just lazy.
in it.
I do sleep in it. I shower in it. Yeah, I do.
I don't know why, but I have a fear of choking myself with a chain that I sleep with. I don't know how it would happen.
How is it long enough to do that?
I just imagine a situation where somehow it gets hooked around a bedpost and I wake up and I'm just like, and then that's how I die.
If I die like that, I die like that. But
Yeah.
I do take my chain off and like my earrings out. I clean all my jewelry like periodically, monthly. But for the most part, I do keep it on, even in the shower, the pool, the sleep, whatever it may be.
There you go.
Yeah. But yeah, I wanted to jump in with a life update because just some interesting stuff has gone down. So first, my brother and sister-in-law have welcomed a little baby into their world this morning, early this morning.
Let's fucking go.
Right? Look at us. We're aunt and uncles out here.
And Sam and Uncle Zach.
Let's
go.
And so they're still at the hospital now, but and my brother is a very interesting guy, and he's leaking information about the baby like this is a celebrity baby. This is equivalent to like the prince of England's baby, because the information that we're getting is so sparse. And this baby has been here for at least, I think, like 12 hours now.
Yeah.
And I've only gotten like one picture and the weight and a little bit of what went down, and then the name, right, is kind of like a thing. You're like, okay, what's the name of this baby? And I mentioned on the last episode that I strongly believe you should discuss baby names before the baby has arrived.
Absolutely.
You know, you should maybe figure that out. They had not really figured that out. So currently, the baby, I think, is maybe still unnamed, but maybe not. Because like I said, my brother's slowly leaking information out to the family. However, are you familiar with like the invisible string theory?
The only string theory I know is the physics string theory in space that is the theory of everything. Is that the same
kind
thing?
of what it means? Yeah,
Okay.
like just kind of that like everything's connected, right?
Okay, yeah.
So you mentioned on the last episode that your nephew's name is Colin, and I thought that was a cute name, and I shouted out Bridgerton. Just maybe that's my theory. Maybe that's where the name came from. And my mom texted me and said, well, they have two names that they're like going for, but I don't know if they picked yet.
Okay.
But one of the names was Eloise, which is also a character on Bridgerton.
Wow.
And so I just was here, and it's interesting because my gut had told me that the baby's name was going to be Ellie. Like I just had like this feeling. My brother wanted an old school name. My sister-in-law wanted something more modern. So I I, along with other family members, had suggested, well, why not you do like an old school name that can be kind of condensed into like a nickname that's more modern.
Yeah,
So
I like that.
yeah,
Eloise, it sounds like Victorian,
right?
like she would be courted. You can't just message her on Hinge.
No, exactly.
And say, "Yo, you want to get this dick tonight?" Like you got to court. You got you got to court Eloise. You got to take her out. You got to open the door. And if she wants to get into trouble, if she wants to do some mischief, then that's where Ellie comes in. Then she's Ellie.
Exactly. So I just thought that was really interesting. I think that the baby's name is going to be Eloise, but the other option was Carter, which is a different vibe. So we'll see. I'm not sure, but I just thought it was so interesting that you and I always seem to have weird... Like, we just have a lot in common, and that is just so interesting to me that we have two Bridgerton-themed names in the family.
That is weird. I also, you mentioned that your brother is leaking information like it's a celebrity baby. I'm just picturing your brother waiting outside in the bushes like paparazzi to photograph his own baby. With his wife just waiting in the bushes. Like those photos you see of Kate Middleton leaving the hospital. Well, we think it's Kate Middleton. But
we're not sure. We
haven't
still
not
seen
sure.
Kate. We all thought she was alive. Now we're unsure. She might actually... That could have been an AI. That could have been a deep fake.
Exactly.
This whole time. We're not sure how she's doing.
But I'm just picturing your brother taking blurry paparazzi photos of his own daughter to keep the celebrity vibe going, and then just tweeting out little tidbits about the baby, like just heard it's 8 pounds 3 ounces.
Yes,
its name is Eloise, and his wife is like, "Where are you? Why are you not in the hospital?"
He's just like that. He's like a very quiet guy. I have no idea. They need privacy anyways. She just gave birth. So I understand. But I also know my mom is like going crazy trying to like know more information.
Yeah. So your brother's not even giving the full scoop to your mom. Your mom's in the same boat where he's just dropping little hints here and there.
So my mom was upset. Not like angry or anything, but I think it's more common now that new parents want privacy. Like they don't want grandma and grandpa and everybody like in the waiting room ready to rush in. Because I know my partner and I have already discussed this, like in the future when we have a baby, we're very adamant as well that we don't want anybody else in the room, and we'll call whoever we want to call when we're ready. Like it's a private thing. And so my brother had broken that news to my mom maybe like a week or so ago. And my mom did not enjoy that because she just wanted to be in the waiting room, like ready to go. Meanwhile, she literally lives 10 minutes away from the hospital. So I'm like, you can literally be there within the hour.
Yeah.
So just give them a little space. So I'm not sure if she's seen the baby yet. My sister-in-law had to undergo a C-section that was not planned. So not the most pleasant birth.
Yeah.
So, maybe they need a little time to recoup from that ordeal.
No, yes. I mean, birth itself obviously is pretty nasty.
Yeah, birth is scary.
But my mom she reminds me and my two brothers that all three of us were C-sections.
Dang, they just opened that back up. It like a purse, like an old bag.
I was gonna say, like, is it like the first one's hard, and then you get back, you're having a second kid, and the doctor sees the scar, and he's like, well, we could just fucking unzip this and take the baby out. You don't have to destroy your vagina again. So, yeah, I that is rough. Especially having a first kid with a C-section.
Yeah. Yes. I imagine, I mean, you and I can only hypothesize at this point, but I imagine that I will be very scared when my partner is giving birth.
So
because it's just a scary thing.
So of course it's a lesbian relationship with you
Yes.
and your partner. Have you already discussed who's carrying the baby? If you decide to have a baby, it's going to be your partner.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I've never, ever in my life had any desire to carry a baby. I remember being a little girl, and when, you know, you play house and like dumb shit like that, people would ask, it would come up, and I would be so offended and appalled at the idea of me birthing a baby. It's definitely, I think it's beautiful. I actually find pregnant women extremely attractive. But
there you go. It's perfect.
Yeah, but like for me, I'm like disturbed by the idea of something growing in me for that long, and then having to expel it, to having to get it out of you. That is so horrifying. And I think that's why I'm so attracted to pregnant women, because it's like such a badass thing to do.
Yeah.
It's like the strongest, toughest, scariest thing that I can think of, really, like anyone having to go through, other than like terrible life events like cancer, all those things where it takes so much strength and courage. It's like mind blowing to me. So mad respect to all the moms out there.
And that's why we're gonna do a pregnant porn review on Breaking Takes Premium. We're just gonna watch it. We can't show it. On Premium
Is there pregnant porn? I've never actually. I think that's one genre I've not looked up.
I went through a phase of it because I saw one that I wasn't looking for, and then I was like, I kind of enjoyed that.
Across it.
First time I did, and then I thought to myself, I enjoyed that. So then I just searched pregnant, and Pornhub spits out all different sizes and ethnicities and
all different months along, different trimesters.
They should have it like in YouTube where you could search by like the size of the channel. They should have like 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, about to pop out, past due. But I feel like for porn, probably like the 4 to 6 month range is ideal, because you don't want to clean up during a porno more than you have to, because you're already cleaning a lot of shit up. You don't have to clean up an actual pregnancy. So,
well, I don't think the baby like comes out. I mean, the baby doesn't know. The baby shouldn't just be like induced by the sex.
I heard it could, like, once you're close enough. I heard that once you're close. Well,
I think it can help. Like, you get some motion in the ocean. It's the same with as women approach the time to give birth, they sometimes get like those big bouncy balls, like workout balls. That you bounce on, and it's like the motion.
And they watch pregnant porn on the bouncy ball, and that induces exactly. But I've heard that once you're close to pregnancy, and also if you're past due, that doctors will recommend to try sex to induce the pregnancy.
As you should. I think, I really encourage pregnant sex. It's not going to be an issue in my household. I can already tell you.
It sounds
we'll
like
be good to go.
It sounds like it won't be a problem for either of us. So
I think we'll be okay.
We're really looking forward to watching our partners go through a pregnancy and then benefiting sexually.
I can't wait. I'm so excited.
It's going to be so hard for us. I don't know how we're going to get through it. But speaking of, I have a perfect segue into my story. You go for it.
Cool. So, so speaking of being new parents, for us, you know, in the future, and for my brother and your brother, I stumbled across a TikTok that has been going viral recently.
Okay.
And just to give it a bit of a headline, I would say a mother has divided the internet with a viral video on why she does not return her shopping cart. And before we watch the video, and for the listeners that might not be able to see the video, it's just the woman, in her car, and she happens to be a doctor. Her name is Dr. Leslie Dobson. She's a doctor of psychology, and is a clinical forensic psychologist. And she also happens to look like a raging bitch, but like, I mean that with peace and love. because she is beautiful. She just has kind of like RBF.
Yeah.
And so we'll listen to the video and we'll chat about it afterwards.
All right, let me bring this raging bitch up.
Yeah, right, pull that raging bitch right up.
Let me know when you can see it.
She'll come up. There she is.
Okay, perfect.
Yep.
I'm not returning my shopping cart, and you can judge me all you want. I'm not getting my groceries into my car, getting my children into the car, and then leaving them in the car to go return the cart. So if you're going to give me a dirty look, fuck off.
She's really
It makes me
adamant.
laugh. It makes me laugh because the way that she filmed that video and then she was like, if you give me a dirty look, fuck off. Yeah. Makes me think that she definitely just got a dirty look.
Yeah.
Right before. And then was like, I'm over it. I'm filming a video right now.
Yeah.
Because people are going to agree with me.
I mean, that's a real life reaction TikTok if I've ever seen one.
I think so.
She just got a look from some old guy returning his shopping cart. Just like I feel like one of the VA old guys that wears the Vietnam veteran hats, and he's returning his shopping cart, and then he looks at this woman that's just leaving it right by her car and walks back. And he's like, I've been through so much, and I'm returning my shopping cart. What have you been through? And this woman's like, I got to record right now.
Yeah. Would you agree that she has a little bit of RBF, or like she just to me looks like the type of woman that I'd be like, oh, that she's kind of a mean girl. Like she's kind of like giving me bitchy energy with peace and love, peace and love.
Here's the thing. She's a total bitch, and she also has a point with leaving the kids in the car. If she
Whoa, are we on opposite sides of the court here?
We could be, but here's my thing. I don't want to agree with her because she seems like such a bitch and so defensive about it, and that just makes her seem like it would be too fun to argue with her because she would just go full raging bitch mode, probably throw some punches at me. She might throw a kid at me if she got mad enough. But I right off the bat, my thought was, if let's say I'm parked far away and I have my kids and my groceries in the car, and it's a good, let's say 45-second walk from the parking space to where you leave the cart.
Is it ever that far though? There's at least in the States, like there's usually a cart thing like every 50 feet in the parking lot.
I was going to say, so it depends if it's a place where it has the rack right by the front door of the shopping mall, the shopping place or the grocery store, or like you said, it's one of those places where every 50 yards or 50 feet or so, there's another rack for each row of cars. I don't know. If there's a rack right next to the car and you have eyes on your car the whole time, there's no excuse. But I have heard stories. Oh, the same guy is back from last week.
Bro,
that's ringing the doorbell.
I can't fucking believe this. I will be right back.
Go for it. I think it's the raging bitch woman. She heard us talking about her, and now she's come to fuck up Sam. Let's see what happens. No yelling, so it doesn't seem like a bitch. Could just be a normal Amazon delivery. Oh, I'm hearing some tussling. She has been gone for a minute. Oh. Someone could be... I hear some voices. I think she's good. I think she is returning.
Always in the middle of the pod. I don't understand.
I was telling our audience it could be the raging bitch woman. She heard us talking about
Ready
her.
to whoop my ass.
Exactly. But yeah, so I was saying, if it's a situation where there's no parking close to the grocery store, maybe you're going at a busy time and they only have one rack at the beginning of the store, and you don't have eyes on your kids, I could see myself leaving the cart because I didn't want to leave my kids in the car for a minute or whatever it
A
was.
minute? What are you
I
gonna do? Crawl? Are you gonna crawl back? Like, dang.
I think there are situations.
I'm shocked by this, Zach. I really didn't think that you would take this stance.
I don't want
I'm
to.
seriously shocked.
I don't want to because her attitude bothers me. But the point,
But you
think
do.
is valid.
You feel it at your core. Okay.
I feel.
But how? But
okay,
Zach,
but wait, well, let me finish. So you could easily walk, let's say 30 seconds from your car to the store. 45 is pushing it, but let's say it's a minute total each way. That is enough time for someone to get in your car and drive away with your kids.
You're
or
not
try to harm
supposed
them.
to leave the kid. Okay, I'm shocked. I'm so shocked.
I'm in it for the kids. Save the kids.
But wait, okay, how did you get the cart in the first place? You got all your kids out of the car, and then you went into the store, and you did your thing. Now, when you come back, I do think it's important. The age of the child's one thing. Obviously, if it's a baby, you need to keep your baby on you at all times. Like, you can't, if it's a baby or a small toddler, you can't leave them anywhere. If they're, a little bit older, I think you can probably leave them in the car for a little bit. Or when I was a kid, first of all, I was employed, okay? I had to push the cart for my parents in the grocery store. And I had to put the cart back, too. So whatever happened to that? These kids aren't working anymore, Zach. And
now,
so you're letting this lady just leave her cart behind someone else's car. Because she's not parking all the way at the back of the parking lot. She's parked right in between two other Tahoes. And where's the cart? Now it's behind someone else's car.
You do have a point. She had to get the cart in the first place without her kids and then bring the cart to the car. So that is a good point. Now I'm thinking, should she have taught her infant to drive just to bring the car around to the front of the grocery store? Now I'm mad for a different reason. What type of mother doesn't teach her toddler to drive and whip the minivan around to the grocery store to pick up the mom while she's dropping off the cart? So I thought she was tricking me with her raging bitch energy and trying to pull me to her side at the beginning. But now that I'm rethinking this, you should have your kids pick you up in the loop right in front of the store.
I feel like she might have casted a spell over you when you watched that video. I feel like where I was struck by her facial features, I was like, whoa. Like, first of all, I don't even think that she returns her cart when she doesn't have her kids. That was the type of energy I got from her. You immediately went inferior. You let her just boss you up with her ideology.
Yeah.
To the point that you were like, you know what? Just leave your cart. Leave your cart. I hope it blows into my car. I hope the wind just blows it right into my car.
Yeah. I mean, it could have been a sub-dom thing where I see her as the dom. I'm just like, take advantage of me. Fuck your kids. I think that's
what it was.
Leave your kids in the car. Run over me with the cart. Take out your anger on me. She has that kind of that energy of, she wants to put people in her place. And I almost fell for it. So thank you for dragging me out.
You're
of that.
welcome. I think there's a famous quote, too, that I don't know who by, but it's a quote about like the grocery cart is like the easiest test in the world. Like people who put back, because you don't have to, right? Like nobody's policing this. Yeah. But it's something that you should do, because if you take the cart, it's your responsibility to put it back. And it's rude, in my opinion, to like let it just be in the parking lot where it can. I've seen carts blow across the parking lot at high speeds. Yeah. And I've seen them dent cars before. it's just rude to do. And, you know, there are things usually in the parking lot for you to more convenient. So it's like, it's just kind of, you know, just, yeah.
And if you do leave your toddler in the car to return the cart and he or she gets kidnapped, that's just survival of the fittest.
It wasn't meant to be.
Exactly. Pop out another kid, you know.
Yeah.
It's not that hard. Just say goodbye to your kid. It was what it was, and then you're putting your cart back and you're being a good citizen.
And now you can also probably go return some items now and get some money back, because I bet some of that food was for your child.
Yeah, your shopping budget just opened up because your kid got kidnapped.
It's great.
People don't look at the positive side of kidnapping, which is the budgetary incentives, more flexibility with financing.
Yeah.
That whole burden of motherhood, you know, there's a lot of positives that come with getting your toddler kidnapped out of the parking lot of a Whole Foods.
Yeah. And another thing that kind of, because so everybody in the comment section is just eating her up on my side of things, because she's not the first woman in the world to have kids. So like most of these people commenting were moms being like, yeah, no, I carry my kid with me to put it back. But also, you don't even have to grocery shop anymore. If you like, you can avoid this entirely. Now, I know that not everybody can afford this luxury, but you can like order all your groceries either for delivery or just for pickup.
Yeah.
Where you like, they have now designated parking spots where you order them all online, and then you go and you just pull into this designated parking spot, and an employee comes out and literally helps you load all the groceries right into your car. You don't even have to get out of your car if you don't want to.
Yeah.
So, and now that I know, because when I first started this story, I did not pay attention to the fact that she is a doctor. So now I know she's a doctor living in California. She definitely has the money to do grocery store pickup. Okay.
Yeah.
So she's just trying loopholes and then leaving her cart out for somebody else to have to put away.
Yeah.
That's just wrong.
I kind of want to watch the video again now that
Go
we've
ahead.
spoken.
Yeah, please.
To see if I fall under her raging bitch spell.
Oh my, it's like a witch.
Spell. Yeah, exactly. Let's see.
I'm not returning my shopping cart, and you can judge me all you want. I'm not getting my groceries into my car, getting my children into the car, and then leaving them in the car to go return the cart. So if you're going to give me a dirty look, fuck off.
I mean, she's absolutely right. I have to say that you cannot leave your kids in the car while you return your cart.
Oh, man.
Yeah, now that I'm seeing that face and that energy again, something inside me just says, destroy me with your cart, you know.
I see.
Get rid of the
kids.
kids.
Is this your type, Zach? Do you like a little bit of RBF in your world?
Oh, for sure. 100%.
You like a little bit of a dom effect. Does Julie give you orders around the house? Is she a little bit more dominant in your relationship?
I mean, she's a female in science. She only knows how to try to dominate.
I guess, yeah. I mean, Demi is too, but I wouldn't say that. I would say that I'm probably more dominant in ways. So
I would say we both like giving it back to each other. Like we have a fun, you know, shit talking dynamic like every healthy relationship should have, in my opinion. You got to be able to talk shit to your partner. And you know, if we have a kid, you know, we can decide, do we want to leave our kid in the car while we return the cart and make more room in the budget, you know, go on more trips. I'm in Costa Rica right. Yeah, I'm in Costa Rica right now. Like, do we want our kid to get kidnapped so we could go back to Costa Rica, or do we want to be responsible citizens and return the cart? So that's something that we can fight about as a couple. But yeah, I just think, like, in all seriousness, anyone who makes this video is a piece of shit. Guy or girl, whatever.
Agree.
In a serious manner, if you record this in your car in a serious tone and you're like, I'm going to show
it
the
just
world.
happened.
Yeah.
This just happened.
Fuck
Like
off.
clearly she just did that and
Yeah.
somebody just told her off.
Yeah.
And then she was all hot and bothered by it. That she got in the car and was like, I'm making a video right now.
How fun-
and then thought it was going to be successful, but now millions of people are shitting on her too.
How funny would it be if she's recording this video about not leaving her kids in the car while she returns her cart, and in the background of the video you see some guy break into the car and steal her fucking kids while she's recording this TikTok. Give me your keys, bitch. Where's your kids?
I don't know who would want to steal. Well, I guess I do. We don't want to talk about that. We talk about pedophilia way too much on this show.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I don't know who wants to steal a kid.
Yeah.
But I'm shocked that you are entranced by this lady, because a whole other portion of my bit to this was, that a lot of people find this to be like you judge somebody. For people who don't return their shopping cart, you kind of judge them a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I kind of was wondering, what are other small things that people do that you judge them for in a negative light?
That I judge people for in a negative light. Something that
I have
see.
like a list that I thought about. So I would love to hear some of yours, and I'll run down a couple of mine.
Give me a couple and I'll see if that sparks anything for me.
I judge people who burp in public at restaurants.
Okay,
and this is personal because my dad does this, and it's disgusting. And he doesn't even notice that he does this, but he will be eating and drinking at a restaurant surrounded by other people and just burp so loud and so offensively that it's like, you are the most disgusting creature I've ever encountered. So that's one.
That did spark something for me about food.
Yeah. Right?
So,
okay. Oh, okay. Go for it.
People that don't wait to eat before everyone's food is coming to the table. There are a few exceptions to that. Like if 2 plates come out and then the other 2 plates, there's a problem in the kitchen. They're like, sorry, it's going to be another 10, 15 minutes. Obviously your food's going to be cold, so just eat it.
Yeah.
But if everyone's plate is coming out, let's say within a 2 to 3 minute period, and your plate
like they
hits
just
the
didn't have
table,
enough hands or something to carry it out.
Yeah, and you're halfway done by the time the person's food across from you hits the table, that fucking pisses me off. I'm like, and especially when someone's making the food, because I've been in situations before where it's been, like a family party or something, and the food comes out and someone will just start chowing down while the lady who made the food is serving everyone's food on the table, and they don't wait for her to sit down as the chef of the whole thing to then start enjoying the food. So that really pisses me off.
Aw. Yeah, that's a good one. That is a good one. Another one that I had thought about, which actually doesn't make a lot of sense, but really bothers me, especially here in New York, is people that don't dress for the weather. I see people in this city, especially in my neighborhood. It is 80 degrees, and I see people with pants and coats on walking around. And I know they might have a flesh-eating disease. They might have something horribly wrong with them that they need to be covered up. But for some reason, my brain just immediately is like, this person's stupid.
Yeah.
There goes another stupid person. Here we are.
Yeah.
Can't even look at the weather before they leave, before they put their clothes on. What an idiot.
Yeah. Piece of shit. God, dominate me. No.
That's
if that lady was wearing a sweatshirt, oh God.
I think she was.
Well, put on 2 more and call me a little bitch. So I would say something that has been bothering me recently, because I've been driving so much just going from Panama, like all the different places we've been living within Panama. Parallel parking. So obviously there's a moment where before you park on the side of the road, you've put on your blinkers and you go into the spot. I don't know if it's just people in Panama because New York City is pretty sensitive to parallel parking because people do it all the time.
You literally can't. There's like 5% of parking isn't parallel parking.
Yeah, exactly. So. Unless you're paying $400 a month for a spot. But I've had at least 4 times in Panama where I clearly signal that I'm parallel parking and I'm reversing into a space, and the person behind me refuses to give me the space to park, and there's no traffic behind them. So they've literally are trying to pressure me out of not stopping for the 8 seconds that it's going to cause me to turn in. And so now I'm waiting and I'm signaling and they're like honking, flashing behind me.
It's like, back up,
back
up, you
dude,
stupid
back the
bitch.
fuck up
Damn.
or I can't do shit. And I've had that happen 4 times. I haven't had it happen to this extent anywhere else, but that's really been pissing me off recently.
It does happen here in New York. I've gotten in many of yelling. I'm trying to work on myself, Zach. Actually, I'm trying not to yell because I realize I'm going to like get myself in trouble because there's so many stupid people here in New York. And you'd be shocked. Everybody that's never lived in New York, just know like if you drive, all you do is parallel park in this city. And the amount of people that can't parallel park and or are disrespectful to other drivers trying to parallel park is shocking to me.
Yeah.
And also another thing that annoys me is when you clearly have space, because sometimes there is a line of traffic kind of behind you, right? And it might be a tight spot or something, but you can like double park and there's plenty of room for people to just go by you. And it might be better to be like, hey, I want to double park so this line of cars can get by me and then I'll park in the space. There are a lot of people that are so fearful of driving through a tight space that I'm just like, you probably shouldn't have your license. And I have a running theory that most people in New York City don't actually have a license.
Yeah.
I genuinely think most people here that drive don't have a license.
So there's a thing in Panama where people steal plates. It's a thing where you have to be careful about parking your car in certain places at night because they will just unscrew your plates and then put it on their car so that if they get a ticket, it'll come back to you.
Genius.
Because a lot of people, same thing, they don't have their cars registered, the car's stolen, or, you know, like they got it through sketchy means and they're just bolting your plates onto their car. So, yeah, happens everywhere. You reminded me of another thing, too, that has to do with driving. People that ask too many fucking questions about directions when it's in Google Maps. If you know the final destination of where you're going and you own a phone, don't ask me if it's a left or right or if it's the one across from Panera or, you know, is the BQE the best one to take or should I take the bridge? It's like,
just
bitch, plug it into Google Maps and it'll tell you the fastest way to get there. I don't know. This isn't 1999.
We don't know how to read a map anymore, okay? Just listen to the directions or look at the screen.
Yeah.
And you'll get there in the fastest way.
I caught myself doing that recently where I got a place. I was thinking of a place to go and I confirmed it with this woman who was working behind the counter at a store. And I was like, oh, is that? And I stopped myself immediately. I was like, never mind. I don't need that information. It's on my phone. And I walked out and I was like, I was about to waste 2 minutes of that woman's time with these dumb social, like, I feel like we feel the need to socially reciprocate. If someone gives us a destination, we want to continue the conversation. And right away I just went, I'm literally just wasting your time asking these questions. I can
answer that myself.
Yeah. Whatever you tell me, I'm going to go into my car, type in the place and just drive the way it tells me to drive.
Yeah.
It could be off the side of a cliff and I'll be like, nah, Google Maps says it's so.
I do think that's like an old school thing because before our generation, like I actually, when I think about my parents driving, I mean, my dad drives for a living for what he does, so he is really good with directions. When I think about my mom drive, I'm like, how did my mom like know how to get anywhere?
Yeah.
How did people even know how to get anywhere? I don't know. I barely even, I don't remember road names. I'm just vibes the whole way to my destination.
I remember when we used to do family car trips, it was my job to print out the MapQuest.
Oh, yeah. Stressful shit.
So,
don't miss an exit.
So my dad would always be the one who was driving. My mom would be in the passenger seat. And I would print it out and give the MapQuest to my mom because no parents know how to use computers.
A printer, yeah.
Yeah, printer, same. Exactly. Yeah, they're like, I know how to drive a car, but I can't operate an inkjet. So yeah, I remember those days, but yeah, there's no need for it today for sure.
Yeah. Well, I could go on forever, but I'll let you take the wheel.
We'll do a pet peeve premium episode at some point. Yeah. Like, we'll just make a list.
And it's just an hour of us listing our pet peeves.
Yeah, exactly. So we were talking about family and children before. And
yes.
So speaking of children and, children coming into the world, Hunter Biden, the son of Joe Biden, he lied about using drugs when he bought a gun. And now this is a whole thing. It's, there's like the Trump trial that's been getting all of the notoriety in the media. And the Hunter Biden trial has also been going on, which hasn't gotten...
He's on trial?
So this is from the New York Post. It says, Hunter Biden chose to lie about drug use to buy a gun. Prosecutors say no one is above the law.
That's right.
Federal prosecutors, even though the president, I was reading this, the president's literally above the law. Whoever is president, I'm pretty sure you can't put an active president in jail. So you technically are above the law.
Well, I mean,
like when Joe Biden says to Donald Trump, no one is above the law. I don't think Joe Biden can be thrown in jail as the president. I think you have to wait until he's not president anymore.
Yeah, like but he would be like impeached and then, would go through the whole process.
Yeah, but I don't think impeaching is I am nowhere near smart enough to
I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
Impeaching to me means the same thing as, this woman, the woman ranting about shopping carts. She doesn't know what she's talking about, but I feel like she does.
Neither do we.
Because she's intimidating me into thinking that she does, apparently.
Yeah.
But federal prosecutors argued Tuesday that Hunter Biden chose to lie about his drug addiction to obtain a gun, telling a jury in the first son's hometown that no one is above the law. Derek Hines from special counsel David Weiss's office delivered opening remarks in the criminal case accusing President Biden's son of illegally owning a firearm while abusing drugs. Quote, "It doesn't matter who you are or what your name is," Hines said. The defendant, Robert Hunter Biden, chose to illegally own a firearm. He was a user of crack and a drug addict. He chose to lie. So...
Well, what are you going to do? Walk into the gun store and say, hey, I do crack. Sell me a gun. I mean, what do you want the man to do?
I mean, that would be one method of obtaining a firearm.
Hey, I'll trade you some crack for that gun over there.
Here are all the methamphetamines that I'm currently on. Which guns can I purchase according to my blood work?
What gun matches my vibe? This is like what I'm usually into. So what kind of goes with crack?
Yeah. I'm not saying I'm a crack addict, but which firearms are the best for freebasing? I'm just curious. If I were to smoke liquid cocaine, which gun would go best with the effects that go along with that?
Yeah.
Just curious.
Yeah. I'd like to know the answer to that question. And I would leave a 5-star review for that employee.
I mean, I'd have to think if you're on crack, you want something that's just like get instant gratification. So I'd have to think, an automatic machine gun type, like AK-47, something that's just going to be like.
I feel like
You want to
that's
feel
the
the power.
cocaine. That's the cocaine. The crack is just a little bit slower. So maybe bring it down. But I don't know my guns. I actually don't know guns at all. There's like a Glock, there's an AR, and there's a rifle.
Yeah.
And like a pistol, but a pistol might be a Glock. I have no clue. I don't know.
I'm sure someone has done a gun review on YouTube with different types of drugs. Which gun pairs best with crack, with cocaine?
Yeah, it's all in the aesthetic.
It's out there. Because also, one thing about the cocaine is that you're gonna snort it first, most likely, and then shoot the gun. Whereas with crack, you might want to have one hand free to smoke the crack while you're shooting the weapon. So maybe you'd want a pistol instead of an automatic weapon, which requires two hands, because you want one hand free to smoke the drugs.
Exactly.
So
I'm glad we broke that down.
Exactly. So I feel like we're at the point now where we have Donald Trump, who is a convicted felon for paying off porn stars, and now Joe Biden's son is buying guns on crack. I think Donald Trump and Hunter Biden should get together and start an OnlyFans where the Don is just banging porn stars like Stormy Daniels, and Hunter Biden is supplying the crack, supplying the drugs. He's just popping off pistols in the background. I feel like this is what we need to bring the country together, red and blue, is to just have a Trump Hunter Biden OnlyFans.
Perhaps. And it's funny that you bring up Hunter Biden, because an article that came across my newsfeed like an hour before we jumped on this recording from TMZ says that Hunter Biden's ex-girlfriend claims he'd smoke crack as soon as he woke up. Which is quite the accusation, but I can't imagine. I mean, if you're a crackhead, I do imagine that first thing in the morning is the ideal time to start your crack for the day.
That is a little soon, because I'm thinking about coffee, and I like I have that sort of 10-minute fog when I wake up where I just want to get my bearings on the world.
The crack is his coffee, though.
So that's what I'm saying. Don't you want like just a 10-minute window of waking up and sort of like brushing off the fog before you smoke the crack or before you grind the beans? Whatever it is, no judgment.
Maybe I think the part that we could forget about is that he is an addict, unlike coffee. So I don't think he can wait those 10 minutes. I think it's like, I gotta smoke this crack right now.
Yeah.
The girlfriend did say, though, that he was also very charming. So he didn't lose any charm despite being a crackhead.
Yeah, I think so. A lot of the stigma around crackheads, like it comes from poor people smoking crack, because you're out on the streets, you're trying to get money for that next hit, raggedy clothes, fucking itching yourself, whatever, like the whole crackhead vibe. But if you're the president's son, you could be a dapper crack addict. You could give a handsome face for crack. You could bring crack back and be like, I'm wearing fucking $10,000 suits. I'm waking up in the morning. I'm hitting my crack pipe. I'm working out at Equinox. I'm drinking $2,000 bottles of wine. I'm driving a Bentley. Like, this is the face of crack. Hunter Biden could be the best thing that ever happened to crack.
Yeah, the best thing since Reagan. I mean, shit.
Yeah.
He's bringing it back.
I didn't really think about crack. I didn't think about crack at all until Hunter Biden, and I'm like,
I know. And now I feel like we talk about crack all the time, and it's because all these headlines keep coming in about Hunter Biden and his crack addiction.
Yeah.
And we have to talk about it.
Yeah.
It's pressing information.
I will say, though, in Hunter Biden's defense, buying a gun on crack sounds like a fantastic time. Like, If I'm on crack and I walk into a gun store, I'm 100% buying one, probably 3 to 4, and I'm going to shoot them within 10 minutes of walking out of the store.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to load them as I'm walking. Like I'm just like, you don't have to bag those magazines. I'll fucking
They're like,
sir,
sir, it has to stay in the bag until you exit the building, sir.
Yeah. Exactly. So it goes on to say, Hines said Hunter, 54, lied on a federal form used for background checks by claiming he wasn't in thrall to controlled substances. So I guess effectively he signed something saying he wasn't on any drugs when he bought the Colt Cobra 38 caliber revolver on October 12, 2018, when in fact he was in the throes of crack cocaine addiction. Quote, because he lied, Mr. Biden was able to walk out with a revolver, a speed loader, and ammunition. When I hear this description, I'm just picturing the TMZ photo. Like, I would kill. We were talking about paparazzi photos before. I would kill for the TMZ photo of a cracked up Hunter Biden walking out of a gun store with ammo strapped to him, and he's loading a pistol. He's
getting in his Porsche that we've also done a story about.
Exactly.
Him in his Porsche going like 120 miles per hour.
While smoking crack, doing motivational speeches. Pupils dilated as fuck. Like that if someone has that photo out there of Hunter Biden walking out of a store cracked out, please send it to Breaking Takes. We won't be able to pay you nearly as much as TMZ, but we'll talk about it.
To
for sure.
Cut Hunter Biden some slack also, is it not the employees is it not up to, like, where is the employee held accountable here? Don't you know a crackhead when you see one? Okay. Don't you know when somebody comes into the gun store and they're like high off their ass on crack? Shouldn't it be your decision to not sell them the gun?
But imagine you own just some rinky-dink gun store, because Hunter Biden, he's not shopping where people are going to recognize him. He's going out of the way.
I wouldn't recognize him ever. He looks like any other average middle-aged dude.
He looks different all the time. His hairline changes.
It depends whether he's on crack or not.
Exactly. But he's going out of the way. And then imagine you're behind the counter at a gun store, and it's fucking Hunter Biden, because he at least has to hand over his license.
Oh, that's true.
He's got the celebrity ethos of,
this
is the president's
I didn't think
son.
about the ID part. But still, it's on you.
Are they going to shut down my store? Like, will this dude who's clearly cracked out of his mind get pissed? Or, maybe you sell him a gun and you're like, hey, do you want to share some crack and go shoot him? I don't know.
I get off at 5. If you want to spend 45 minutes if you can hang around.
Exactly. Like that scene from Wolf of Wall Street where Jonah Hill is like, no, it was Leo, where he smokes the crack and it hits him and he just goes, I want to see lions, tigers, and bears. Let's go. And they just go run off into the distance, him and Jonah Hill. That's Hunter Biden with a revolver.
With this random, middle-aged lady. Like, heavy-set, like, redneck lady.
Yeah, she's smoking a cigarette, like, let's go do it.
Can of Budweiser. Crack, triple crack your can and do some crack.
Yeah. So it says the younger Biden owned the gun for 11 days and actively used drugs during that time until.
That's not long at all.
Yeah, I mean,
a lot of time to do some damage, but I'm just saying, in the big picture, it's a small window.
Small window, but if you're up for 11 days straight on crack,
that's true.
He probably thought it was 2 years. He's probably like, what the fuck is going on? He owned the gun for 11 days and actively used drugs during that time until Haley Biden, his sister-in-law, turned lover. That's a weird
what?
way to.
Wait a second.
Apparently he banged his sister-in-law.
But wait, Zach, he only had, wait. He has a brother.
That died.
Yes, so he fucked his dead brother's wife?
Apparently, yeah.
Damn, crack messes you up.
Yeah.
Crack has you crossing lines.
Yeah, I mean,
wow.
Crack's wild. So Haley Biden, his sister-in-law turned lover, threw the weapon away after finding it in Hunter's car. Haley found the revolver inside the center console of Biden's unlocked Ford F-150 Raptor, which had the windows rolled down and drug paraphernalia inside. I don't see why other countries say the U.S. has a gun problem. He was just riding around on crack for 11 days, popping his pistol off out the window. That's all just good fun.
It's pretty casual behavior. I think I did that like back in 2013.
Exactly. He just wanted to play some real life Grand Theft Auto, and you add in crack. We know he was banging hookers. Now we know he had a gun.
Yep.
That's like the boss level of GTA. So he was just trying to live
really
the video game.
He really is living a spectacular life. There is no stopping Hunter Biden. There's no stopping him. His dad's the president. You would think maybe you're like, okay, there's going to be more eyes on me. Yeah. Doesn't stop Hunter Biden. I think Hunter Biden should be president. He seems invincible.
I think it should be Hunter Biden versus Donald Trump for the next election. That would be something that I would actually tune in for. Joe Biden.
I'd tune in, all right.
Joe Biden is, he's done at this point. If he's still alive, he needs Hunter to come and step in. Joe Biden needs to smoke some of his son's crack. That's what needs to happen.
He might need, just so he can walk a little bit faster.
Exactly. There is good reason to actually blame Haley Biden, Hunter's sister-in-law turned lover. It sounds so weird every time.
Wow. I mean, yeah.
So this is what Haley did. Haley Biden took the revolver, the ammunition, and the pouch the gun was in, and tossed them into the garbage outside a Wilmington grocery store. This is after she found the weapon in the Ford 150 wrapper, after she found Hunter's gun. Instead of, just keeping it, maybe like sending it away, or, giving it to a friend that actually owns guns, or tossing it in the bottom of a river, she threw it in the garbage can of a grocery store. And of course someone found it and was like, hey, what's this gun doing in the garbage?
Yeah.
And Haley Biden was like, oops, that was Hunter Biden's gun.
Damn.
And so yeah, she, I feel like she could have used an extra 30 seconds of forethought. I just picture her peeling around in a grocery store.
Who puts a gun in the trash can though? Like who? I wouldn't think to do that. I know you might want to get rid of it really quick, maybe before he sees or something. So I get acting fast, but my brain wouldn't think to just put a gun in a trash can. Something about that just doesn't seem that safe, maybe a child or somebody else that shouldn't have the gun stumbles across it and now they have a gun.
Yeah, it sounds like it wasn't even a dumpster. It was a garbage can outside of a grocery store.
Yeah, with some guy was out there smoking a cigarette. It's like one of the grocery store ones with an ashtray on the top.
Yeah.
Just smoking a cigarette. And then all of a sudden there's a thump at the bottom of the can. He's like,
yeah.
What was that?
Yeah.
A shiny, beautiful pistol.
He tries
revolver, I should say.
He tries to empty the can and just shoot himself in the leg. He's like, "What the hell? That's never happened before."
Yeah, I don't usually find guns in my trash cans.
There is a text thread that I think would be worth going through. Just a short text between Haley and Hunter Biden.
Okay.
I guess this is while he was buying drugs. So Haley Biden texts Hunter, And she says, "You okay? Question mark. Are we staying home?" And then Haley says, "Why won't you answer my calls? Where are you? Are you with someone?" Hunter says, "Yo." Or no, Hunter, Hunter says, "Yo."
That's such a great response.
Hunter says, "Yo, yes. Bernard, who hangs at 7-Eleven."
Oh my God. He picked up a random friend at 7-Eleven.
Yeah. He says,
Listen, we all know the type of people that hang out at 7-Elevens. It's a rare breed. You don't want to encounter them.
yeah, Bernard, who hangs at 7-Eleven on Green Hill in Lancaster. I'm now off Maryland Avenue behind the Blue Rock Stadium waiting for a dealer named Mookie.
Oh my God.
And he says his brother L, this is Hunter, he says his brother L is getting in the car now. He has my money. I'm getting pissed. And then Haley says, "Why aren't you answering my calls?" And Hunter says, because
he's busy doing a crack deal. What do you mean?
Well, he says, he makes a good point. He says, because your name pops up on the Bluetooth and I don't want to talk in front of them. And Haley just says,
fair enough.
"Okay, I just wanted to feel your love." And so,
okay, no big deal, honey. Thank you. Thanks for getting back to me.
Exactly. Could you imagine seeing a shady dude in a hood outside a 7-Eleven, and it's two dudes hanging out, and one of them is Hunter Biden, and you're like, "Is that
can
fucking
imagine
Hunter Biden?"
That actually seems like a very fitting place to find a wild Hunter Biden.
Yeah.
Just go to your local 7-Eleven, and you might find Hunter Biden.
Yeah. There's a 40% chance of that happening.
Yeah, the chance is pretty high.
Yeah.
Especially around here. You said that was in Wilmington. That's Delaware. So, yeah, he's up and down the East Coast. He's a Delaware boy.
Yeah.
I forgot. Yeah, the Bidens are from Delaware.
Absolutely. So, yeah, that's pretty much it on Hunter's end. We'll see what happens with the trial, the crack, and the guns.
I mean, it all sounds like a wonderful recipe.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to hear more.
Yeah. So I do have an "Am I the Asshole" for this week. If you wanted to go through it, we could make it quick since we're a little bit tight on time.
Sure.
So the "Am I the Asshole" for this week is, am I the asshole for being mad that my boyfriend won't make noodles the way that I like? First impression.
Maybe not. It depends. Did you give him proper instructions on how to make said noodles?
Well, I'm about to tell you, Sam. So,
okay.
Am I the asshole for being mad my boyfriend won't make noodles the way I like? She writes, "Okay, this sounds dumb, but hear me out. I have always been a picky eater, especially when it comes to tomatoes. Ever since I was a kid, my dad would make my spaghetti different from the rest of the house. I like having an essence of the sauce flavor on the noodles, but not the overpowering flavor having noodles bathed in the sauce creates. So here's where it gets a bit odd. My dad would separate my spaghetti from the family's after putting the sauce on, and then would rinse the sauce off with the sink and the strainer. I love noodles like this, as it is a nice, subtle tomato vibe given to the mild spaghetti. My boyfriend, she's 20, so she says me, 20, my boyfriend, 26, has known about this since we started dating. He always told me my food habits were cute. We've been dating for almost 3 years now and moved in together at the beginning of the pandemic so we could be in lockdown together. Ever since we moved in together, he insisted on taking charge of cooking and all cooking-related tasks, and he assigned me the role of cleaning the bulk of the apartment. We split other tasks pretty much 50-50 as well. Everything was perfect, and he always seemed to be making noodles the way I like them and when we had them. This was until last week when we last had spaghetti. We ate and everything was good, but afterwards he started teasing me, saying things like, "You really like your pasta with an essence of tomato, and how is your tomato essence, babe?" Always using finger quotes around the word essence. After a few comments, I felt something was off and asked him if he had done anything differently with tonight's noodles than he usually does, and he started laughing. When he finally stopped laughing, he told me the whole truth while smirking. He said, I didn't do anything different than I usually do. I have never been making it the way you've requested.
Yeah.
Apparently, the entire time we've been living together, he's just been skipping the pasta sauce on my noodles entirely. He claimed that if I didn't notice it for this long, then it shouldn't matter that he's making dinner in a way that is easier for him. I disagree entirely. I think lying was a huge breach of trust, and so is the refusal to make dinner how I wanted. I have admittedly been acting passive-aggressively to him since, but he thinks I did nothing wrong, and that I'm overreacting, and that I need to let it go. Am I the asshole?
Well, this is definitely the type of argument that a 20-year-old would have, because it's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. First, I'm appalled because this goes on my pet peeve list. People, and it's usually grown men, so this is a bit of a twist, but people that eat food like a fucking baby. Like, they only eat chicken nuggets and mac and cheese and, like, buttered noodles. And I get some people do have actual, like, sensory issues. We're not talking about those people. There are people that literally just will only eat chicken tenders and, like, the same food that they've been eating since they were 5, which seems like is what's going on here with this girl. She just wants her strange, plain noodles.
Yeah.
And at first, I thought, like, it was, I was going to say, you know, maybe he's the asshole, like, if she really liked her noodles cooked a certain way. Because I'm particular, actually, about my spaghetti as well. My sauce has to be heated up. My girlfriend weirdly doesn't heat up the sauce. She'll just put the sauce on the noodles that are hot. But I'm like, no, you got to cook the sauce. It's very important. Yeah. Okay?
I've been guilty of that too as well. So I
get it, but it's just so much better with a hot sauce.
I'm aware of how much better it would taste with putting the hot sauce. So
exactly.
I do agree with that. I think this girl didn't notice the quote tomato essence, because her dad was also skipping the sauce. She thinks
probably
she thinks her entire childhood her dad would put on fucking tomato sauce and then fucking hose it down different from the entire family.
So weird.
I think after 2 times her dad was like, my daughter is a crazy bitch. I'm just gonna skip the sauce. And she's just been eating plain pasta her entire childhood thinking that it's tomato essence, which is why this plain pasta tasted to her like the pasta from her childhood.
I still don't understand, Zach, how it's a tomato essence if you're hosing off the tomato essence. She thinks that because it was in the sauce and then it's hosed off, that there's still an essence there.
Yeah.
But I would call it tomato essence like just like adding very, very little sauce, like a spoonful of sauce and then mixing it up. That would be an essence of tomato.
Also, don't they sell pasta that is tomato basil flavored? Like, they sell spinach flavored pasta. I think I've seen tomato basil flavored pasta.
Wait,
shit like that.
Are you pasta? Like, I don't know. Pasta's usually just a dry noodle.
No, but sometimes
I see sauce that is like tomato basil.
Like, have you ever seen the green pasta where it's like spinach enriched, like sort of like spinach flavored
in
pasta.
The dry pasta section?
In the dry pasta, yeah. It'll be like
I've
green pasta.
I've seen green pasta, but I guess I've never actually looked that closely.
Yeah. It might not be super common, but I've seen it a couple times before. But also, I was going to say, like, if if you're going to put tomato sauce on pasta for a minute or two and then rinse it off, like you said, you're not gonna taste anything. You'd have
why
to,
not
like,
just leave it plain?
Why not just exactly? Or your boyfriend would have to make tomato sauce pasta and leave it soaking overnight, and then hose it down for you to even have like an ounce of taste of tomato. Like, if you want a chance of tasting the tomato, you'd have to do it like chicken, where you put a rinse on it and then you leave it overnight and then you take it out and cook it. But I don't even think that would make your pasta
because then you're gonna boil it all away.
Yeah, exactly. If you're gonna rinse it down.
That's crazy.
Anyway, I mean, if I told my girlfriend like, hey babe, can you put cheese on all the pasta, but then hose mine down after? I really love a cheese essence.
It's so crazy.
Check me into a psych ward and then leave me.
That's my thing. So I don't think he's an asshole because I think he's trying to help her. Yeah. Like he's trying to help her become a normal person in society. When he said that her eating habits were cute, that was what he meant by, oh, so you eat like a toddler. How cute.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and fix that about you.
Yeah, exactly. So I have a couple edits too. This girl added to the post. So
oh God.
The first edit, my boyfriend found the post and is not happy. I'm debating pouring the sauce directly down the drain to spite him. Also, a lot has happened since this morning. Y'all may be happy to hear that we broke up. We had a we broke up. We had a huge blow up fight since he found the post, which led to me breaking up with him. He did not like that I called him a predator, and I started to think that y'all had a point about that, so I ended up breaking up with him. She called her boyfriend a predator for not putting tomato sauce on her pasta and rinsing it down. What does she think the show To Catch a Predator is about? Does she think Chris Hansen is showing up to people's houses and being like, did you message a 12-year-old boy about putting tomato sauce on his pasta and rinsing it down? Because you're a predator.
Yeah, no, I think that he should take this as a blessing. He should flee and leave her to herself. She can cook her plain noodles with tomato hose down sink water essence, and he can go and find himself a new lady that likes flavorful food.
Yeah, I agree. Here's the last edit to the post, which makes it even more wild. So, edit number 2. He attempted to plead with me a bit. My parents pay our rent, so he can't afford the place without me, but I wouldn't budge. Now, some things I found out in the breakup argument. First, he is not a pharmacist like he always told me. He just works at CVS.
Okay, a little embellishment there. No big deal.
Second,
he just runs the cash register.
Yeah. Second, he has actually cheated on me multiple times.
Oh.
With other girls that go to my college.
And they probably like pasta sauce.
Yeah, they don't make him rinse it off.
Yeah.
He's like, finally a bitch that doesn't make me hose it down.
Thank God.
And this is just to be clear, this is her wording. This is the last sentence. And she says, on top of the cheating, she says, and lastly, and worst of all, he has never actually been allergic to dogs. He just doesn't like them.
That is kind of crazy.
So in her mind,
okay,
him lying about being allergic to dogs is worse than fucking multiple of her friends.
I mean, I think that's potentially pretty valid.
And being a fake pharmacist.
Yeah. I mean, listen. This one took me for a ride because I couldn't have thought that it would have ended like this. So I don't know who's that. They're both assholes now.
Yeah.
I don't know what's worse, hosing down your pasta or I actually kind of respect the lie about dogs.
Yeah.
But it is a little bit crazy also.
Yeah. I mean, that is
because I feel that in a way. I'm not a dog person, but it needs to be a particular dog for me to like.
Yeah, it does for sure. I guess the line, if you're it's a fucked up, it's a toxic tomato situation all around. Toxic tomato sauce situation. The lying about the fake pharmacist, the lying about the dogs. I don't. In my head, I respect the dude for being like, after this girl yells at, breaks up with him and calls him a predator for not putting tomato sauce on her pasta, that he's like, oh, by the way, I am not a pharmacist. I fucked both of your friends, and I'm not allergic to dogs. Peace, bitch.
Fuck you.
And he's like, oh, by the way, it's not technically cheating because I covered my dick in tomato sauce when I fucked your friends, but I washed it off before.
Yeah.
So
it was
technically,
just an essence.
Yeah, it was just tomato essence. It wasn't a tomato fuck. It wasn't a full fuck. It was just an essence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So. Wow. Well, I mean, I'm good for them for being on their separate journey now.
Yeah.
And I hope that she finds a fellow plain Jane, somebody that also just likes buttered noodles, and I hope that he fucks everybody he wants to and slurps some spaghetti noodles with robust tomato sauce and has a great rest of his life.
And it's also just this whole thing is just the magic of the Am I the Asshole Reddit, because when I first started reading this post and it's talking about pasta and, you know, I'm not even close to the end. I'm just the first couple sentences. It's not anything particularly exciting. And then something inside me said, no, keep reading. Like, there's something. Yeah. This is going to get fucked up in some way. And I kept reading. And then I thought, holy shit, this is going to be, there's a lot of twists and turns. You go back and forth. So it's just the magic of Reddit.
It's crazy, other people's lives and what goes on.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just along for the ride, and so are all of our listeners.
Yes, thank you guys for tuning into this episode. If you want to come along for even more of the ride, and you're like, hey, I have some extra time to kill while I'm washing off my girlfriend's pasta, and you need a podcast to listen to, check out breakingtakes.supercast.com, where we post premium episodes every month. We have AMAs where you can ask us anything, and you also get the ability to suggest questions and topics for us to go over on the podcast. So if you see a Reddit post or you see a news story, whatever it is, you can send it to us, and there's a decent chance that we'll talk about it, and we'll give you a shout out when you send it to us.
That's right. It's more than a decent chance. It's does
really
Hunter Biden do crack chance?
Yeah.
It's like, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, Hunter Biden could join Breaking Takes Premium and send us more stories about Hunter Biden doing crack. So
that's true.
That's also a good way to
that's our source.
Get the story
straight from the source.
Exactly. That's also a good way to get your story.
It's not hosed down at all.
Exactly.
It's full on, not just an essence.
That's not Hunter essence at all. Yeah, that's full on. That's full on Biden mode right there. So yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. BreakingTakes.supercast.com for bonus episodes. Rate us on Spotify and Apple. That really helps us get out there with visibility, and the episodes rank higher when people search for things that we talk about. So when someone types in essence to Spotify or Hunter Biden crack, our episode will pop up higher.
We have to be at the top of the algorithm with that. The amount of times we've talked about it, surely we have to be at the top.
The more ratings we have, the higher we'll pop up in the search algorithm. So definitely go do that on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and we'll talk to you guys next time.
Yeah, see you guys next week.
Peace.